Hello, heathens. Welcome back to the channel. Today is, of course, a Sketchy Saturday video. Before I get into the conversation today, I will be discussing for just a second what is happening on screen. So I sketched this little cute Spooklette in pencil in my marker sketchbook, and I'm coloring her with a mix of alcohol markers and gel pen and a couple of fine liners. I also used a brush pen. It was a brush pen and fine liners, but anyway, a list of the supplies and links, if the links are applicable, will be listed below, as always. The supplies that I used are, they're fairly easy to find, so the majority of them can be purchased on Amazon. So again, if I do have the Amazon link, that will be down below, but don't feel obligated to purchase from Amazon. Purchase wherever the hell you want. So, okay, the illustration was sketched some time ago as a Patreon exclusive downloadable coloring page line art. My exclusive line arts are available during the month in which they are created. So if you would like this one, unfortunately, poof, she disappeared. She disappeared quite a while ago, actually. So if you were a Patreon patron at the Color Fiend tier when she was available but happened to miss the download, let me know and I will be happy to send her over your way. Okay, so let's get into the video. I would like to extend a quick thank you to my YouTube subscriber, Bubble of Coloring. And I'm going to, if you hear little clickety clacks in the background, I'm pulling up the comment right now so that I can read it. I recently requested topics for discussion in future Sketchy Saturdays rather. And a few of you did respond. And in a previous Sketchy Saturday, I answered a couple of your questions. In this one, I'm getting around to it now. So Bubble of Coloring says, are there any new things, art supplies, themes for coloring books, etc. that you might want to try in 2024? And what are the good things this year that you would like to keep a hold of in 2024, such as a routine, vlogging, whatever. Okay, so essentially my goals and plans for the year is what we are going to be discussing today. I may not go through every point in this question, but I will cover what's pertinent. I don't script my videos, as you know, so me being a scatterbrain, I'm gonna forget something. I do have one sticky note of notes though, so without further ado, let's get into it. I recently posted a mildly scathing critique of the ramifications of setting lofty goals and why doing so is a horrible idea for most people. However, goals, aspirations, and all of those delicious things can, in certain situations, be wonderful, beautiful, amazing things. To answer your question, Bubble of Coloring, yes, I do indeed have a few goals and loose plans in mind, so let's go ahead and chat about it. And specifically, we're going to be talking about my creative pursuits and aspirations. So first up, and these are going to be addressed in no particular order, but number one, I would indeed like to toy around with a few new art supplies and materials. I do have a small wish list of supplies which I will begin playing with later this spring. I'll keep it a surprise for now, but a couple of art supplies that I have never played with and some that I have dabbled in but never really extensively played with, and this was years ago. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. My wish list is it's right here in my drawer, and it's waiting for me to start going through it and ordering supplies. But we're gonna have to wait a little while because I have some plans first that I need to deal with. But new supplies will be toyed with sooner rather than later. Number two, something that I have already started experimenting with actually is exploring techniques with water and watercolor and marker, I should say. So I want to continue playing around with this. If you have been with me in the previous couple of months or so, you've seen me start to experiment more with watercolors and my marker techniques. You've noticed this especially if you watch any of my recent color in chats. I have been engaging in what I refer to as texture play, and that is just attempting to coax a more frenetic, expressive effect out of my marker work. So I will indeed continue going down this path when it comes to marker and by extension, my watercolor work. Another thing that I would like to continue this year is the accumulation of a large body of small pieces of work. I began a streak of creating small, I consider them my little gems, my little jewel box of tiny paintings. I started that in late summer of 2023-ish, right around there. And I came across some small wooden panels that I thought, oh, it's boiling outside, it's hotter than Satan's outside. And so during the summer, I currently reside in the desert. It gets to be about 123, no joke, okay? And so your girl just doesn't want to get herself involved in anything overly complicated. So I just wanted to play with something fun and cute that I could offer to people to purchase if they wish to, for a dorm room, for a cubicle, small apartment, something like that, van lifers, tiny house dwellers, just small, cute, portable little jewel pieces of artwork, my acrylic sketches. So anyway, I have been enjoying that immensely, and I will be creating more, and that's that on that. I mean, the reason for doing so initially was just for funsies, and it's still very much for funsies, but I do like the idea of creating accessible art for my supporters who have a limited budget, while in tandem also in the background working on larger, more involved pieces and experiments, some of which will never even see the light of day. But I tend to be an artist who, if I'm working on something complicated in the background, whether or not it ever sees the light of day or not is irrelevant, but in the process of my working on something larger or experimental, I require palette cleansers because I'm not one to hyper focus on one thing at any given moment. That's just not how my brain works. Oftentimes I will get ideas for a project while I'm working on an entirely different project. Some people come up with ideas in the shower randomly. Some people wake up at odd hours of the night with a totally random idea, right? Well, my ideas tend to come when I'm jumping from project to project. If I'm focusing on a painting, I can't really come up with ideas for new paintings. But if I'm working on, I don't know, organizing my wardrobe or organizing inventory for my online store, the vintage clothing that I sell, sometimes an idea will pop up and I'll have to write it down and such. So that's just how my brain works. My brain is like a big, it's just spiderweb. It's a spiderweb of interconnecting pieces, but they're all kind of orbiting each other. I'm a solar system, I guess, right? That's a good way to describe it. I mean, I am the center of my own universe. The sun, okay? The sun around which all of my other projects orbit. So yes, I will be continuing to build this extensive collection of small pieces. And the second reason why I'm doing this is, yes, it's fun. Well, I suppose it's the third reason, right? It's fun. It's allowing people to purchase small, affordable pieces of artwork. But personally, something that I've always struggled with when it comes to artwork is my speed, and especially painting. I can ink quite quickly because I've been inking for years. I'm used to it. I love it. I know all of my pens like the back of my hand. I'm good with ink. But painting, I have always been slow with painting and I can't stand it. So I'm hoping that pumping out a bunch of these really cute, quick, expressive little paintings is going to help me to increase my speed when it comes to paint. I have this weird psychological problem. It's a block. It's a self-imposed block where I feel as though because I'm painting, I have to be a little bit more intentional. I have to be a little bit more careful. I have to no, you don't. No, you don't. Or at least I don't, and I don't care to. So yeah, that's the other reason. Okay, so let's move on to another point here. Another goal of mine that I have touched on in the past is that I would like to begin working on building a curated, robust signature color palette. Throughout the years, I have been, if you've been watching my channel, you know that this has been going on for quite a while. I have been slowly working on whittling down my marker collection. Now, I have never been one to over purchase sets of markers. You know, every marker brand will come up with different sets, different curated collections. You know, this brand has a pastel, this one's got a neon, this one's got a fashion set, this one's got a pastry color collection. It's never ending, right? I've never been one to overindulge in that. However, I have accumulated a few sets of markers over the years, and I've been slowly working my way through them. When a marker dies, I throw it away and I do not replace it. However, if it is a marker that I feel perfectly encompasses what I would like to create in terms of a color palette for my artwork, my signature style, I set that marker aside. I set that little corpse of a marker aside, and I start looking at all of the colors that speak to me the most. And of course, surprise, surprise, it's going to be more warmer tones. I love warm, bold pinks, magentas, fuchsias, plums, eggplants, all of that sort of thing. And that's not to say that I'm ever going to stop using, you know, browns or blues or any of their colors, but the vast majority of the colors in my repertoire, maybe about 80%, maybe even 90%, but I think 80 is a comfortable number. 80% of my color palette will be the Karla color palette, right? The warm sunset 80s inspired color palette, and then the other, you know, 20% will be whenever I feel like venturing off into, I don't know, neutrals or pastels and such, then we'll play. But it's time for me to start. It's overdue, to be honest. It's time for me to start focusing on my color palette, which by looking at my artwork, you may think that I've been doing it for many years, but truly, I need to continue to whittle down my marker collection because I have way too many greens, way too many blues, way too many other colors that are not relevant to my work. So yeah, when they die, we will not be replacing most of those. Some of them, yes, but not all. So you understand what I'm saying? I'm falling down a rabbit hole here, but you get it. More curated colors for a more signature look. I do not advocate for overconsumption of similar art supplies. And by that, and this is a PSA, a public service announcement to everyone out there who may be watching. I've said this before and I preach about it constantly, that I think having too many supplies that are very similar results in overwhelm, and it results in analysis paralysis. Because here's what happens. A new shiny set of colored pencils or markers comes out, and in this case, we'll focus on colored pencils. Colored pencils come out, different brands, different sets, and everybody runs to get the introductory set, right? And then after, you know, a few months goes by, you are left with 50 different sets of colored pencils from 50 different brands. And so you have 50 different reds, 50 different greens, 50 different blues. All of them are essentially the friggin' same, right? So what's the point of that? I understand purchasing sets is usually more cost effective, but at what cost? You're saving money to accumulate a bunch of junk that you're not going to use, or at least very rarely use. And then when you pull out a coloring book or you pull out a sketchbook or whatever it is that you're working on, you think, well, shit, which set of my 50 sets that are very similar am I going to pull out today? And then you get lost. You get lost, and then you can't think and you can't decide, and voila, the onset of analysis paralysis. Don't do that. Don't do that. I would say on the topic of colored pencils, purchase, 2 or 3 different sets, but have them be wildly different. Get like a set of bold colored pencils, and then a set of strictly pastels, and then a set of, I don't know, neutrals or something, right? And this can be said with markers as well. So anyway, that's another rabbit hole that I could easily fall into, which I've discussed before, and I will probably talk about it again in the future, of overconsumption of art supplies. But okay, put a pin in that one. Okay. So let's see, sticky note. What are we going? Let's see. Oh, duh. I'm over here talking about curating colors, and this goal is actually going to be the first one on my list that is going to be met in terms of trying new art supplies and all of that. So I recently placed a fairly sizable order with Ohuhu of individual alcohol markers. So I have been, as I said, I've been whittling down my alcohol marker collection, and now it's time to start building that robust color palette. And you will see, not in, I don't believe so, you may not see the implementation of those new markers in this Sketchy Saturday, but they are scheduled to arrive within the next few days. So you will be seeing them in the future. No shock. They're warm colors, but okay. So that one, we're playing with that coming up real soon here. And let's see, the final point, let's see, sorry, I'm rereading this comment. Themes, coloring books, stuff for my website that I would like to try. Coloring book themes, there are a couple of themes that I would like to explore, and I'm going to begin, not coloring, I'm going to begin sketching my next coloring book before the end of January. I was supposed to begin January 1st, but my mind has been in a million different places, and I just needed to not work on a coloring book. But now the itch is here. Now the mental cobwebs are beginning to clear, and it's time. It's time to start working on my new book. So I'm excited. I have a feeling that once I kick out a good, 3 to 5 pages, I'm going to start seeing the vision of this book. I'm already excited, let me tell you. So anyway, that's that on the new book. I'm not going to reveal the theme yet, of course, but it's going to be good. It's going to be a good one. I'm excited about it. I mean, I'm excited about all of my books, right? But yeah, she's going to be a good looking book. Okay. Let's see. I want to continue with the experimentation. I want to start curating. I want to work on more paintings. Yes. Themes will be explored for my coloring book. And the final goal, this is one that has to do with sketching and sketchbooks themselves. So the sketchbook that you see me using specifically, this little square, I believe it's about an 8x8, if I'm not mistaken. 8x8, it is an Ohuhu. No, wait, I'm lying to you. It's not Ohuhu, it's Artica. It will be listed down below. But I would like to finish this entire sketchbook by the end of the year, which is not a tall order because I've already done quite a bit of work in this sketchbook. And if you've been here for a while, I am absolutely no stranger to completing sketchbooks. I've completed many of them over the years, but I didn't last year. I did not complete any last year, and that's because I've been working simultaneously in several books. But this one is coming along nicely, and I would just like to see it completed, colored, sketchy, messy. It's just colorful, sparkly, and gorgeous. There's no need for me to say, oh, I have to. It'll help my confidence. It will boost my confidence if I finish the sketchbook this year. There's no need for any of that because been there, done that. But I just like where the sketchbook is going, and I just want to see it done. That's all. You know, your goals don't have to be extravagant and important. It's just, hey, see this sketchbook? I've been working on it long enough. It's time to finish her up. Yeah, so that's what we're going to be focusing on, finishing up that particular book. And that's it, my nasties. Those are some of my creative goals and aspirations for the year. Some are in progress. Some will happen eventually, and they'll happen in some form or other, and I will be sharing my experiments with you all as the months go by. New supplies, all of the delicious things I've discussed with you, all of that. You'll be seeing that appear on my social media posts, in my artwork, and in my videos on this channel. Sketchy Saturdays, color and chats, you know how I do things around here. So let me know, do you have any goals? Are you afraid of goals? Do you fail your goals? Are you one of those? If you are, by the way, watch my recent video that I uploaded about goals. It's titled something like Why You Always Fail Your Goals or something like that. If you are one of those people, you beat yourself up every year because you set goals and you don't meet them, watch that video. It sounds like a harsh video, and it is, but it's a friendly kick in the pants, right? Because everything that I ever set out to do, I end up doing. To varying degrees of success, but at the end of the day, I can say, hey, you know what? At least I tried, and at least I did the thing, right? And the same goes with this year. You didn't see me setting myself up for any lofty, extravagant goals, right? They're simple, Easy to achieve, but they're going to be high reward. Experimentation in art is going to lead to a style evolution. Completing a sketchbook is always a great thing, right? You get it? All of these smaller, easily digestible goals are cumulative. The effects of them are positive, and positive cumulative effects are better than setting seemingly impossible goals, right? You have to take things one step at a time. And if I'm trying to experiment, it's best, I'll use this as an example. If I'm wanting to evolve my style into being more expressive, more dynamic, more experimental, well, I have to begin experimenting with one or two art supplies first. Then I have to get a feel for it, right? And things are looking dynamic and sketchy the way that I want them to, but I haven't really reached that style evolution that I'm aiming for. So now it's time to introduce another art supply and another technique and start building, start putting more steps on that ladder until I achieve the overall look and feel of what I'm going for. And this, I'm specifically referring to a style evolution here in terms of my art, but this can go for any other goal that you may have. It doesn't necessarily have to be creative, just cumulative small goals that result in a positive cumulative effect, right? Got it? Does that make sense? All right, I'm rambling. It's late. So that is going to do it for today. Take a look down below. Everything you need to know will always be linked down below. Subscribe, follow me on Instagram. You know how it is. Instagram is, I'm not giving up on Instagram. Some people think that I am because I do not post. I disappear for a few days at a time. I always have to say this because people think I'm leaving. There's a lot of brouhaha about Instagram right now, but I'm weathering the storm. I'm not going anywhere. Sometimes I take a few days off. Sometimes I take a week off, but I'm not leaving, okay? So follow me over there if you are an Instagram head. And please, if you do, like my images, leave me little comments because they greatly help with visibility. That's what the name of Instagram is, unfortunately. So thank you so much for joining me, for subscribing to this channel, for following me over on Instagram. Be bad, be good. I don't give a damn which. You know I don't give a damn which. Just make sure you come back in one piece. And again, let me know if you have any goals. Post those down below. Goodbye, my nasties, to my Patreon patrons. Thank you as always for being around. We need to do a mashup pretty soon. Yeah, so again, if you have this illustration, if you were a patron back then, download it. Have fun. Let me know if you missed it, and keep an eye out because the itch to do a Patreon mashup illustration is coming up soon. So thank you to everyone. All right, shut up. These post-midnight rambles. I just want to talk to you guys, but I need to not because I just woke up my dog. Okay, I gotta go. Do you hear him shaking in the background? All right, goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. I'll see you in the next one.